Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Breakthrough Blueprint, where we talk to entrepreneurs about their journeys, the biggest struggles they've overcome, and how they've achieved their lives of success and abundance today. And today we have my amazing friend Jake, and I'll hand it over to him to introduce himself.
Howdy, y'all. Jake Margis of Jake's Cakes ATX, best damn cookie cakes, and now cookies as well. So, all custom made. Biggest thing we do is include protein into our cookies and cookie cakes.
Amazing. And how did you get started with your baking? Like, was it from childhood or?
Childhood, yeah, 3 years old. My mom showed us how to bake. And so, growing up in a household full of baked goods all the time, where she'd actually have a dinner bell, ring it, and be like, "Hey, I'm making cookies. Who wants some?" And I'm like, "I'm not here for the cookies. I want the cookie dough." And I just actually, my dad worked at Nabisco as well. So, I
Wow.
not only like the emotional, like fun baking side, decorating side of it, I got the
Hmm.
logistical, analytical side of like, okay, how do you grow this thing?
Wow, that is so interesting. And where did you grow up?
I'm from Wisconsin, Madison, Wisconsin, smaller version of Austin, Texas, but colder. And moved here back in the middle of COVID in 2020.
Gotcha. What brought you to Austin?
I visited back in 2019. My best friend that I've known since childbirth lives down here. He was just like, "Hey, you and your roommate should come and just visit, hang out." And it was 2019. I remember Labor Day weekend, and pretty much it was pool parties, boat parties, going out, dinners, and it was like, wow, if this is what life is like, sign me up.
Yeah,
Because
totally.
I mean, it's also the weather. I mean, the people here, the entrepreneurial spirit's very much well alive here, and that's what I love about it, and the fitness community as well.
Definitely. Well, that's awesome. It sounds like since then you've gotten really plugged in, right? Your business, it looks like, has grown really quickly.
It has, and a lot of learning lessons from last year. I'd say biggest lesson was making smaller offerings. So now getting into the cookies and small bite-size options, because not everyone needs a giant 16-inch cookie cake to eat all
Hmm.
by themselves.
Interesting. So, going back to your upbringing, you said your father. What was his role at Nabisco?
He, I believe, was like a regional warehouse manager or in charge of like their distributing to all the different food stores or wherever needed to get delivered. So a lot on the fulfillment side. I
Hmm.
actually probably need to have a deeper conversation with him about this. I just remember going through the warehouses as a kid when we'd visit him in office, and
Yeah.
you're pushing boxes of inventory around, and technically you're not supposed to do that. But it was like that was what we were waiting for him to finish up work, so we're just like, "Oh, we'll just run through the warehouse, push stuff around." But then we'd always, of course, get a box full of different, Chips Ahoy, Oreos, the Squirt string cheese stuff, so I'm surprised we weren't fat as kids, but
Well, that's great. So, how did you get, I guess, into like health and fitness, and then decide to incorporate that in the cookie business?
I was into sports growing up as a kid, I played football in middle school, high school, also in high school did rugby and track and field.
Hmm.
And my parents, how they met was back in college, and where they were both doing Olympic lifting, like they were never in the Olympics, but Olympic lifting style of lifts.
Hmm.
And that's how they met. And so that was always part of our family, was just kind of being fitness type of family. I mean,
Hmm.
you look at all previous years, we've like met up for Thanksgiving when I like fly back or vice versa.
Hmm.
Our family's the ones doing the K turkey trots on Thanksgiving.
That's great. Balance between like the cookie industry and fitness. So,
Yeah, and a lot of family trips too, where we go hiking and do all sorts of active lifestyle kind of activities.
hmm. And so, what were you doing for work or for your business before you started Jake's Cakes?
So, I have 8 years of supply chain experience. I also have very diverse background of political science, is what I graduated with from college.
Hmm.
Was in politics for a good chunk of years.
Wow.
A lot of the campaign trails, working at a legislative office for a short time. So I got to
Hmm.
see all the inner workings, how things work in our political system, and then
Gotcha.
banking as well. So a little bit part of salesmanship, a lot of customer service requests, and then supply chain came into my career when I worked for a smaller company that was doing commercial roofing. Originally, because of my banking background, they brought me in to do accounting, but then quickly turned into like, oh, we need to do everything here in the company. And yeah, counting inventory in the back and making sure we
Mhm.
have all the materials shipped to where we need to for different jobs.
Mhm.
But I guess also growing up, like I was very artistic. So I had a picture of Knuckles the Echidna from Sonic the Hedgehog that was published in Sonic Comics number 21.
Wow.
Yeah, they're over like 200 comics now, but
Mhm. Mhm.
my mom had showed it to my principal and he's just like, oh, this is really good. I mean, I'm 7 years old at the time when this happened. And he's like, we need to send you to a college course. And I'm like, okay. So on the weekends, I would go to college style art classes and be
Wow.
surrounded by people in their late teens, early 20s that are, in my opinion, at the time at 7 years old, I'm like, oh, you guys are really, really good. Like, not even anywhere close to this. It's like, no, like for 7 years old, you're really good.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like, just keep doing this. So I
Mhm.
initially at the time was a little intimidated just by the fact of like the age gap there of how old I was versus how old everyone else was. So I did that for a couple months on the weekends and then just kind of went about
Mhm.
my life. And in sophomore year of high school, I was still really much into drawing, was thinking about being a Disney animator, but I didn't really like doing the almost the same drawing, but you're changing it a little bit at a time. And this is like right when this is after Toy Story had come out.
Mhm.
And so we're talking thousands here at this point. So CGI was becoming more of a thing for movies. But then it was kind of like, well, this field's kind of drying up, and I was wanting to do nuclear engineering.
Wow.
There's a whole thing around that, but like I have a mix of an engineering mind, very personable side. My dad's more of like an engineering, technical, logistical type of person. My mom's very personable, very
Mhm.
caring, and she's a nurse. So that's where I kind of get the mix of both personalities in me.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've seen a bunch of your designs now, and it's great that you have a gigantic cookie to be your canvas because it seems like you're
Exactly.
making a cookie cake for every major Austin event now.
That's the goal. I mean, so the saying is one of the sayings is if there's not a Jake's cakes at a party, it's not a party.
I love that. I'll keep that in mind for my birthday party because you and I met not that long ago at Lynn's party.
Yeah.
And I had just heard of Jake's Cakes too. And you're like, you're going to see me everywhere soon. And you were right. I did see you everywhere. And I was like, okay.
Yep. I mean,
So that's really awesome.
once you see the brand or you've seen the cake or you've tasted it, then
Mm
it's like, he is everywhere. And that's
hmm. Mm
kind of where
hmm.
I did get that hustle from my
Mm hmm.
political background of working on
Gotcha.
campaign trails where we were trying to go out and get people to vote for your certain candidates or support a certain cause. And
Mm hmm.
I just know what it takes exactly of like you gotta like literally go to all these key events here where you don't go to every event, you gotta be very strategic about it. And this is for
Definitely.
any business owner as you're growing your
Mm hmm.
brand is be very strategic. Don't try to spray and pray and be everywhere. I mean, that's initially how I first started kind of doing this, but you have to like pick what's going to really give you the most ROI or return on investment for exposure at the beginning
Mm hmm.
stages. So, whether it's a product or a service, do you offer a lot of in kind, I want to say donations of your
Mm hmm.
product or services to kind of like show people what you can do? You got to get that social proof to like prove yourself first, to like, this is the value I bring. And
Totally.
as time goes on, then you can like start charging.
Definitely. Yeah. Now it seems like it's not a cool event until you have Jake's Cakes, at least in Austin. And it's great that Austin has such a strong community. Like people are very supportive, it seems like. It's not only just like the subcultures of like entrepreneurship, fitness, tech, all of that stuff, but people want to support you. Is that what you felt?
Yeah, I mean, I just had a phone call earlier this morning about Lux Agency, Luxe, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
agency. They do a lot of model runway shows, and I know the fashion industry is something that could definitely has a lot of room to grow here in Austin.
Mm-hmm.
Surprisingly, with all like the people that love to like dress up and everything, but we need more of a
Mm-hmm.
fashion side to this city.
Mm-hmm.
But talking with them and like they were already talking about this year's events and where
Mm-hmm.
they want my cakes at and being supportive and like, hey, we want to make sure we can use much exposure as possible to not just you as a person, but like your brand and making sure people get to try your cakes, see your cakes, know what you're about.
I love that. That's awesome. I mean, Austin is just changing so much. It's such a unique place because I've lived in like LA, Miami, Dallas, and it's got its own culture where it's got the city part, yet it still has a small town community feel. So it doesn't feel too big. And once you get plugged into the scene, it's like everyone is 1 degree of separation away from
Of
everyone
course.
else, which is amazing. And I love that because then you can go anywhere and you're running into people and making friends really easily. And I think that's great because while I do have some friends that are born and raised in Austin, so many people are transplants. So they want to welcome you, they want to connect you with their other friends, and it's just been really great because I'm from LA originally.
Yeah. And I mean, and I'm sure much bigger. I mean, what, you got a population of like 4 million or something?
It's crazy. Yeah.
It's
It
like
can
to
get easy to
try to meet someone, I mean, or make a
yeah.
friend, it's like, I might see you, like, if you're unless you're plugged in, yeah, you won't see them, very often.
Exactly. The city's so big and spread out, and just because the traffic, it's like if you live on the east side or the west side, you may never go and see each other because it's like an hour or two drive to go across the city. And so Austin is great that it's small enough where everyone's hanging out in East Austin, downtown, South Congress. And I really love that. And the fact that Austin has such a thriving arts, music, and culture scene
Mhm.
too. I'm sure that's also helped you. But what was the point, I guess, when you decided, like, okay, I have enough traction here to make this like a full time business and go all in on myself here?
So, the journey was my last job in supply chain in 2024 at the end of it, contract role, and then just at the time, election was happening, so at least a lot of uncertainty in the market. Demand was kind of dropping, and because of the uncertainty, so saw the writing on the wall, and it's like they weren't going to extend a full time role to me, and I did everything I could correctly at that job. And
Mhm.
I at that point I had started another company or launched a product I invented called Cold Plunge Caddy. It's basically a bowl. I'm going to make this sound very unsexy. It's like a bowl that it can hold up to 4 pounds of ice in it, has holes in it, and you mount it right beneath your shower head, stand underneath it,
Mhm.
let the water flow through it. So, in coldest setting, at least that I've experienced in my apartment, is 70 degrees on the
Mhm.
coldest water setting, but this gets down to 42 degrees. So, it's like you're almost doing like a cold plunge in your shower.
Okay.
And I launched that June of 2024 and had aggressively been pushing it. Lessons learned from that was trying to always make a sale, being too salesman pushy though, not being authentic. And I mean, I had enough people like, oh, you need to go on Shark Tank. So kind of elevated it in my head that I need
Mhm.
to like be like making sales all the time here,
Mhm.
and it just didn't feel like me. So,
Mhm.
I mean, this is a key thing for a lot of entrepreneurs is if you're feeling like you're forced to like push something in front of someone instead of like being able to show the value of how it can improve their lives or bring value to their lives,
Mhm.
then I would not pursue it. If you're in it just for the money, don't do it.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
people will see right through it pretty quickly. And not to say that I was trying to be inauthentic, it's just it didn't feel authentically me though, finally. And in 2025, it's like I've been doing hundreds of hours like at events, promoting it, trying to do content for it, and it's a tough market. Also, knowing like the industry or market you're in is
Mhm.
definitely important. And
Mhm.
knowing like, is there opportunity for you to sell your product in there? Is it something that people do want and value? But if not, then you got to look at pivoting. And that's where Jake's Cake started back in January 2024. Even before that, where I was kind of just doing for friends on the side. Like every once in a while, how I got started was potluck style events and friends
Mhm.
people come over and people bring in chicken, chips, pretzels, and I'm like, "Well, I like to make a statement, stand out a little bit," and then we also had to do a cookie cake as far as that I
Mhm.
was aware of at that time, and so I brought it and people were like, "These taste so good, like, you should start a business." I was like, "That's not exactly what I was thinking here," like, for me at that time, I was like, "I wanna make some, like, high tech, like, product here that people are gonna buy," but, I mean, it's sometimes in the most simplest things that you find opportunities, and not to say that everything I do is simple at Jake's Cakes,
Mhm.
I mean, a lot of thought and engineering goes into the decorating of cakes, but
Mhm.
and even chemistry behind how the batter's made. It's just knowing when to pivot properly and pursuing something that really authentically feels like you, that you don't even have to push it. Like it just naturally flows from you.
Mhm. Definitely. I love that. That's great. It sounds like you've had a lot of experiences with trial and error. I guess what is one of the biggest struggles that you've overcome either in building Jake's Cakes or just in your career in general?
I know something that I've said before to people was trusting your gut and starting sooner, like just being confident in yourself and not afraid to make those mistakes. What was it?
Mhm.
The Magic School Bus, Miss Frizzle. Make
Mhm.
mistakes, get messy, and that's how you learn. I mean, that's exactly more of how I learn. It's not like
Definitely.
you can plan, and just a side note here is I was coaching students on how I kinda got Cold Plunge Caddy started was coaching students on 3D making 3D printed products and then selling them on Amazon, and, what's the
Mhm.
process? Like, how do you do that? But first, how do you
Mhm.
even come up with an idea of a product that would be something people wanna buy from you?
Mhm.
And our biggest saying in that was always take action. In absence of clarity, take action. You're not going
Mhm.
to find clarity through analyzing or tweaking your product to perfection. Like you're never going to have perfection on the first go.
Mhm.
Minimum viable product. Like, for example, Jake's Cakes. Okay, chocolate chip cookie. Let's just start there. Like, does it taste good? Great. Okay, now if people want to decorate it, is it decorated at least well enough that it like makes people notice it? Awesome. Okay, now we
Mhm.
can improve on those things in the next
Mhm.
iterations. But just don't be afraid to do trial and errors. Like I've had people that I attempted to actually make my first national shipment last year to someone, and this is where probably some better preparation should have happened on looking at shipping options because the shipping fees were like $300 for like a cookie cake and 4 dozen cookies. And it's like,
Mhm.
that's just outrageous. But then also when it got delivered, it just was demolished. And so lost the
Gotcha.
clients out of that. I
Mhm.
had to pay the bill. I wasn't about to like, because granted, yes, it was out of my control, but I still pushed for like, oh, I can ship this, I can get this done. But I
Mhm.
took that responsibility myself and being honest and just, you
Mhm.
know what? I tried to make this happen and didn't work out, but you know what? Move on. Like more money will come.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, it's a great lesson to learn and I'm sure just with the fragility of, your product, there's a lot of different factors into it that go into it and the packaging and everything. I'm sure,
Mhm.
like you said, the chemistry of baking, because are most of your requests for like protein cakes and like dietary restriction cakes?
People still like sugar.
Like I said, I want all the sugar and all the butter.
Yeah, no, I mean, still top request is chocolate chip. That's
Okay.
the nostalgic classic favorite. And
Yeah.
I mean, most people, I mean, the health thing, they kind of already think cookie or ice cream
Mhm.
or brownies, like that's a dessert.
Mhm.
I'm just offering an alternative, like, okay, you can still indulge, but also be somewhat healthy. It's never going to be
Yeah.
like, oh, this is going to like make you like ripped and jacked. Like, no, that's,
No promises like that being made.
yeah. I mean, that requires like, physical activity and going out and lifting and walking and running. But um, it's still, I mean, I get a lot of requests for gluten free, some vegan. Kind of standard for me is just including protein in all my cakes and cookies.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I just am launching. I'm doing some test trials still, but doing protein creatine cookies, a good post workout snack that you can have and still have the recovery effects of it, but indulge
Okay.
as well.
That's awesome. Interesting. So, and you said you're doing individual cookies, like boxes of a dozen cookies now?
Yes, looking at individual 4 pack, 12 pack,
Okay.
and I actually have like a order for custom design gluten free red velvet cookies for a
Ooh,
baby shower later this month.
nice. That's awesome. And you said, so did I see that you go to like networking events? Was it like BNI or
Well, BXN network.
BXN? Uh-huh. Okay.
Also
Are you a
local.
member?
Yes,
Mhm.
I am.
Mhm.
$75 a month, not too much they're asking for there. And
Mhm.
you're always connecting with other business owners.
Mhm.
And that's where you'd be surprised how much business, at least for me as a baker, you can get from other business owners. Cause hey,
Mm.
for a client, thank you gifts, maybe a personal one for a birthday, or I had a chiropractor who ordered one just because he wanted him and his staff to have a nice tasting cookie cake.
Gotcha. Oh, that's great. Maybe I should go to one of those.
I can invite you. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that'd be awesome because I definitely would love to do more networking events and like conferences because I feel like for my business too, it's like the best way to meet people is in person.
No, absolutely. And just kind of FYI lesson learned here too is initially
Mm-hmm.
when I was starting Jake's Cakes is a lot of actually you kind of start amongst your friends or your peer groups, like a lot of people that you go to similar events with and
Mm-hmm.
start there. But then eventually it's like you can't keep going back to the same watering hole, I guess, if
Yeah.
we want to keep it kind of Texas style here. Um, you have to diversify like who you're reaching out to because also like yes your friends and family will be your biggest supporters,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time you have to get out to new clients and not afraid to put yourself out there because most of the time you're going to get more return in sales from people that you don't even know.
Definitely. Yeah, that makes total sense. Well, just to wrap things up here, do you have any words of advice or encouragement for other entrepreneurs?
Get started now. There's never a perfect time to start.
Mm-hmm.
If you're putting off something, for example, for me for a while I was doing my accounting side and my QuickBooks.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the thing you need to do the most in
Gotcha.
order to make your business successful. Or if it's, hey, making a post on social media, post daily in
Mm-hmm.
order to like get that algorithm to like see you and your
Yeah.
products or your service, you need to be posting almost daily. And I know I haven't been doing that as well as I should be, but that's something I'm changing this year too, is just you got to be top of mind. If you're not top of mind to the client you're attempting to reach out to, they're not even going to think of
Mm-hmm.
so always be out
Definitely.
there promoting yourself and your business. Not even just your
Mm-hmm.
business, but yourself personally, because people trust the people behind the brand, not just the brand.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much, Jake. I'm so glad we got to do this. And for
Yeah,
everyone
you're
else, please tune into the next episode of the Breakthrough Blueprint.
awesome.
Perfect.